Fear of missing out, aka FOMO. Let's be honest, FOMO is the ultimate social media trap. It's that nagging feeling that you're missing out on something amazing, that everyone else is having more fun, living a better life, and achieving greater success than you. It's easy to get sucked into this digital mirage, comparing your ordinary life to the carefully curated highlight reels of others. But here's the thing. FOMO is a lie. It's a carefully constructed illusion designed to keep you scrolling, liking, and craving more. But what exactly is doomscrolling, you ask? Well, it is like endlessly scrolling through your phone, looking at one bad news story after another. You know, like all the depressing stuff about disasters, politics, your ex, or whatever. And even though it's bumming you out, you can't stop. Instead of moving on, you keep scrolling, hoping to find something that will make you feel better. Time is our most precious resource, yet we often squander it mindlessly scrolling through our phones. It's pretty much the worst way to spend your time. So how do you know if you're caught in this doom scroll spiral? Here are a few telltale signs. You lose track of time. Hours can go by without you even realizing it. You scroll mindlessly. You're not really paying attention to what you're seeing, but you can't stop your thumb from flicking. You prefer your phone to real life. You'd rather text your friends than actually hang out with them. You interrupt everything to check your phone. Whether you're in the middle of a conversation, a meal, or even a romantic moment, that notification ding is just too tempting to ignore. If any of this sounds familiar, you might be struggling with social media addiction, but you're not alone. Millions of people are grappling with this issue. Now, before you start feeling too bad about yourself, let me just say this. It's actually not entirely your fault. These apps are designed by experts who know exactly how to exploit our vulnerabilities. They're designed to be as addictive as possible. They use all sorts of sneaky tricks to hijack your brain's reward system, giving you little dopamine hits every time you get a like, a comment, or a new follower. But just because you're not to blame doesn't mean you can't take control, right? So how do you break free from this digital quicksand? Well, I'm not going to waste your time with the same tired old advice you've heard a million times before that tell you to delete all your social media account or to use an alarm clock instead of your phone. I mean, sure, those things might help a little, but it's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. They're not addressing the root of the problem. Instead, I'm going to give you some real, practical, actionable tips that will actually make a difference. Tips that will help you regain control of your attention, your time, and most importantly, your life. Tip number 1, figure out what's really going on. All right, now it's time to play detective and uncover the real reason you keep scrolling. Are you using social media to avoid dealing with difficult emotions or situations? Are you procrastinating on some project? Or maybe you're just feeling lonely, bored, and disconnected. Whatever it is, figuring out the root of the problem is like finding the source of a leak in your basement. You can't fix it until you know where it's coming from. Once you've identified your triggers, you can start to apply the right strategies for dealing with them. Maybe you need to start journaling, meditate, find a new hobby, join a club, or whatever. The point is, you need to address the underlying issue first, not just the symptom. Just taking painkillers for a broken leg, surely not a good idea. Tip number 2, swap out your habit. Now that you've done some soul searching, let's talk about habits. Because let's face it, doom scrolling is a habit, just like brushing your teeth or biting your nails. And the thing about habits is, they're not easy to break, but they're not impossible either. The key is to replace your bad habit with a good one. So instead of automatically reaching for your phone first thing in the morning, try to do morning workout instead. Instead of scrolling through Instagram during your lunch break, go for a walk or socialize with your friends. And instead of doom scrolling before bed, try journaling, meditating, or reading something that's actually useful. Tip number 3, out of sight, out of mind. This one might seem like a no-brainer, but it's amazing how many of us keep our phones glued to our hands 24/7. It's like we're afraid we'll miss something important if we're not constantly connected. But here's the thing, most of what we see on social media isn't important at all. It's just a bunch of noise designed to distract us and keep us coming back for more. So do yourself a favor and put your phone away. When you're working or studying, put it in a drawer. When you're eating dinner with your family, leave it in your bag or pocket. And when you're trying to have a conversation with someone, put it face down on the table. And if you're really brave, try leaving your phone in another room altogether when you go to bed. I know, it sounds crazy, but trust me, you'll sleep better, wake up feeling more refreshed, and be less tempted to start your day by scrolling through a feed of negativity. Tip number 4, set some boundaries like a boss. Okay, Let's say you're not ready to go full Amish and ditch the technology altogether. That's understandable. After all, your phone can be a useful tool when it's not actively ruining your life. But even if you can't quit it cold turkey, you can still set some healthy boundaries. Think of it like this. Your phone is a toddler and you're the parent. It needs rules, structure, and the occasional timeout. Start by disabling those pesky notifications for social media apps. Trust me, you'll survive not knowing the second someone likes your photo. Unsubscribe from email lists that clog your inbox and turn off notifications for anything that doesn't require your immediate attention. Then, take it up a notch by using your phone's Do Not Disturb mode when you need to focus. That way you won't be tempted to check your phone every time it buzzes. But wait, there's more. Most smartphones have built-in features that let you set time limits on specific apps. So, if you know you can't resist scrolling through TikTok for hours on end, go ahead and set a limit of, say, 30 minutes a day. Tip number 5, digital minimalism. Less is more. Well, this tip might sound a little extreme, but trust me, it's like hitting the reset button on your brain. Digital minimalism is a philosophy that encourages us to be intentional about our technology use. It's about choosing quality over quantity, focusing on the tools that truly add value to our lives, and letting go of the rest. Start by decluttering your phone. Take a good hard look at all the apps on your phone. Are there any that you know are just a waste of time? Any that make you feel bad about yourself? If so, it's time to say goodbye. Delete them, unfriend them, block them. Whatever you need to do to get them out of your life. It might feel a little scary at first, but I promise you, you won't regret it. It feels good to let go of the excess baggage and make space for things that actually matter. And if you're not ready to go full Marie Kondo on your phone, try a social media detox. Give yourself a week or two without any social media apps and see how you feel. You might be surprised at how much more time you have, how much better you sleep, and how much more you enjoy the real world around you. Tip number 6, get mindful, not mindless. Okay, now that you've decluttered your digital life, it's time to focus on your inner world. Because let's face it, doomscrolling isn't just about wasting time. It's about numbing out, avoiding our thoughts and feelings, and disconnecting from the present moment. But here's the good news. There's an antidote to all that mindless scrolling, and it's called mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about being aware of your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without getting caught up in them. There are a million different ways to practice mindfulness, but here are a few simple ones to get you started. Meditation. It can help you calm your mind, reduce stress, and become more aware of your thoughts and feelings. Yoga. It's a great way to connect with your body and breath and to cultivate a sense of inner peace. Mindful walks. Next time you go for a walk, try paying attention to the sights, sounds, and smells around you. Notice the feeling of your feet on the ground, the wind on your skin, and the sun on your face. And if you're looking for a little extra help, there are tons of apps out there that can guide you through meditations, breathing exercises, and other mindfulness practices. And the last tip, tip number 7, embrace the JOMO philosophy. JOMO, or the joy of missing out, is the antidote to FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's about finding contentment and satisfaction in your own life, rather than constantly comparing yourself to others online. When you're constantly bombarded with images of other people's seemingly perfect lives, it's easy to feel like you're missing out. But the truth is, social media is a highlight reel. People only share the good stuff, not the mundane or the messy. So, don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Instead, focus on cultivating your own joy. Do things that make you happy, spend time with people who lift you up, and pursue your passions without worrying about what anyone else is doing. Breaking the addiction, not just the habit. Now I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, but how do I actually stick to these tips? And that's a valid question. Because let's face it, breaking an addiction isn't as easy as just deciding to do it. It takes time, patience, and a whole lot of willpower. But here's the thing. Willpower is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire digital life overnight. Instead, pick 1 or 2 of these tips and focus on implementing them consistently. Maybe you start by setting time limits on your apps, or maybe you decide to leave your phone in another room at night. Whatever you choose, make it a priority and stick with it. Remember, progress, not perfection, is the goal. And as you start to experience the benefits of it, you'll be more motivated to keep going. You'll start to realize that you don't need social media to be happy or fulfilled. you'll start to see that there's a whole world out there waiting to be explored. And here's the secret sauce. It's not just about breaking the habit, it's about changing your identity. You need to start seeing yourself as someone who is in control of their time and attention, not someone who is controlled by their phone. So what are you waiting for? Let's face it, life is too short to spend it staring at a screen. It's time to put down the phone, look up, and start living. If you've made it this far, I hope these tips help you as much as they've helped me. Don't forget to share your own experiences and tips in the comments below. Thanks for watching.